Good evening. Welcome to Black Feather and Ospreys Rugby Fancast. And I suppose we should say, lads, happy St. Patrick's Day. We are recording on St. Patrick's Day. Hence the top with, can never say that word right, Slange.
Sláinte.
And the Sláinte and the Guinness year ends.
Nice.
No, thought I'd dress for the occasion. Although, fun fact, we all know St. Patrick was from Wales, got kidnapped by Irish raiders when he was 16, enslaved, worked as a shepherd, came back to Wales, fully got down with God and became a cleric. Sorry, dog was here, John's away, she's playing up. And then went back to Ireland and banished them of snakes. However, Ireland didn't have snakes. Didn't have any. So how could he banish what wasn't there? But that's like religion for you. So,
It's like the chicken and the egg thing, Sam.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But ban
We'll
went
save that
apparently.
for our off-season religion podcast.
Yes.
What? Hymns of praise.
That
Hymns
would
of
be the
praise
white
on
feather,
tradition.
wouldn't it? The
The white
Dove's
The white
Feather
feather,
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
And we wouldn't podcast, we'd conclave.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been a hot minute since we've all seen each other and we've spoken to each other. I think it was before the Ireland game, wasn't it, that we
It
caught,
was. Yeah.
caught up. Obviously, I went to Ireland and literally had a great time. Tried to split the G. Didn't succeed. One gulp too many, lads.
Oh, too many. It's usually too few, isn't it? When you see the videos online, it's usually not
Yeah,
enough.
no,
Ah.
I went for 4 gulps and I should have gone for 3. I think if I'd have gone for 3 gulps, then I would have been bang on. I'd have been perfect. I did, however, have no problem with the baby Guinnesses, though. They were fine. They went down
I,
a little bit too well.
I like all these videos on Instagram and TikTok of people going to split the G. I'm doing air quotes. And then necking the whole pint and going, oh, bloody hell, so close.
So close, so close.
Wasn't there talk a while back that Guinness were going to move the G up? They were going to move the logo up on their
Yeah.
glasses because people were drinking too fast, basically, and they were going to move it further up. So when he split the G, you only had a couple of gulps rather than
couple of
half a
gulps.
pint.
Capitalism tells you that wouldn't be the case. If they're going to get you
No.
to drink beer faster, that's the route they're going to choose. They're going to
Well,
be
you'd
dropping the
think,
G down to the bottom of the glass. So you basically have to
Yeah.
order 2 pints every
So-
time because you've got to
Maybe that's
split
what it was.
one.
Maybe I misunderstood.
We've gone from religion now to politics and capitalism.
Yeah.
This podcast is educational.
Oh, we
And
cover
what we
everything.
haven't said yet is it's a victory pod. Woo! That should have been the opener.
It should have
This is-
been.
This is only our third Wales victory pod in the time we've been podding, isn't it? The 2
Yeah.
wins against Japan and this. So in
Yeah.
however many episodes we're up to now, what are we on? 70 something, probably?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm really happy and I am here for it. And, we've got to say, Italy were no walkover during this tournament. Not at all. Coming off the back of that, historic England win, they weren't going to be a walk in the park for us on Saturday. But going back to Ireland, I was in that corner where Lewis Rees Carey scored his try.
Wow.
I saw that live.
I thought it was Louis Biel Carré.
But no, they were calling him Louis Biel Carey, but I called him Louis Rees Carey. And I actually said, I spoke to Derry at the end of the game when they were coming round. I spoke to him, had a good long chat with him, a nice big sweaty hug. And he still smells nice, even though he's done like 55 minutes or 50 minutes of absolutely busting his balls. Like,
Oh, he's doing media, so he's straight into the changing rooms
Oh, that's
after
true.
80 minutes and he's spraying himself up with Lynx Africa. That's what he's doing.
Honest to God, like literally in my series of player t-shirts, he's next up.
Yeah. Do you
So
know
I'm
that?
getting, yeah, I'm getting on to
Sorry,
make
Sam.
me one.
That Reece Carey try, when he retires in years to come, and he's sitting in the pub where he does his after dinner speaking or whatever it is, that try is going to be further and further away from the
Yeah,
goal line. Year on year, it's going to start at the sort of the
just about
22.
halfway line.
5 years time, it'll be the halfway line and he beats 7 men. Then it'll be the 22 and he beats about 12 men, and then it'll be Barbarian 73 from his own line eventually.
Yeah,
Beating the whole
on
opposition
it.
team.
Yeah.
Honestly, seeing it live, it was like he he just tried to dummy. He
Yeah.
just tried to dummy, and there was no way they were stopping him then. And he was just literally on the ground going, and we all looked at each other and we were like, "What the fuck was that?" Like literally, ow, like wow.
But the
And I
funny
just think
thing is, sorry, Sam, you finish your point.
it's just so funny that when he was doing his videos and they were asking him, "Oh, what's your try celebration?" He was like, "I don't score tries." And you've done three. Like that's banging.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the funny thing is though, for anyone who watches Prem Rugby, and I don't watch a lot, but I do know that he does that week in, week out. Maybe not the claim in the tries, but certainly running hard and
Yeah,
um, doing amazing stuff out on the fringes. So he's well capable of it. He just hasn't had that recognition at international level. But
Mm.
that's his game. That's his game, isn't it?
I have to be honest, as someone who had like no transfer lock-in under Gatland, he was released for being too unfit. He's proper given a two fingers up now, isn't he? And I think
Yeah.
moving to Saracens has been really, really good for him and for his game. And it's just been lovely to see the tries that he's scored because it's just like I said to Dewi at the end, you're going to have to start calling him Louis Reese Carre now. I said, have you thought about putting him on the wing next week, Der? And he was laughing. He was like, I'm going to have to go in and tell him that. And I was like, honestly, it was banging.
And we talk about taking your opportunity then. And I think when we did our sort of pre-season or our pre-Six Nations pod, when he'd just been picked for that first match, I think we all had our reservations around,
Like, yeah, what's going on there?
why is he being picked? Is he going to live up to the expectations on him? Is he going to be fit enough? Is he going to be a ball carrier like we want him to be? And to be fair, he's put his hand up. He's taken his chance, not just with that try, but throughout the
100%.
competition with his scrummaging, with his playing the loose. He's been a real find. I know we knew of him already, but he's really taken his opportunity and nailed that shirt down. I think, or nailed that sort of starting prop shirt down
Yeah.
for himself, and
Yeah.
good for him.
And this speaks volumes that the two guys that he's keeping out of that starting jersey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's quality in behind him, quality that pre-tournament you would have anticipated starting, but he had his shot, he took it, and he's made that jersey his own now, and I think it'll be the same in the summer and the autumn as well. After that, he's got that jersey now, isn't he? He seems to be
Yeah.
favoured by Tandy, certainly. They seem to
Yeah.
value what he brings and know how to unlock it and use it in the right way, which is putting him in those positions where he's going to have the opportunity to hit a small winger, on the inside shoulder, hitting a gap.
Yeah. It's I know we lost out in Ireland, but we certainly gave them a scare. We certainly did. There was we know I'm not a fan of the Irish. I think they're cocky bastards. Sorry, Dara. And there was certainly an element of that beforehand, with a lot of, we're going to put a cricket score in you, blah, 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 as we were out and about in Dublin. That soon quietened down during the game. And I did post on my Insta because NetBet Ireland, they got a guy who kind of tries to rage bait you a little bit, and have a bit of banter with you before you go in. And of course, I'm there, got all my Ospreys gear on, I got my flag wrapped around me like it's a Superman scarf. And he literally, as he was speaking to me, when he was like, yeah, but and I went, oh yeah, the Irish are the nearly men of Northern Hemisphere rugby. What have they ever done? Because they've always been that close, but always so far. And he was like, you've just literally took my legs there, girl. You've done me like with that. So it was really lovely to see, although it was a loss, it didn't feel as devastating as it was when I was out in Rome last year.
Yeah. I think there was a bit of a contrast, wasn't there, between the Scotland game and the Ireland game. The Scotland game, we went gung-ho attacking-wise, which Scotland games often become because of the nature of how Scotland play as well. That Ireland game, we showed a steeliness defensively. I never felt we were going to win the game, but it never felt like it was going to run away from us either.
Yeah.
And I think that was the important thing, that we showed a bit of passion and a bit of grit and a bit of determination defensively to keep the score down, to be competitive, which I think we needed to show. And then the Italy game we'll come on to talk about, we were able to put both aspects together into one coherent performance.
Yeah.
I think that Ireland game would have been a big moment for the boys. It certainly was for us fans, and I'm sure they felt it just as acutely, really, that they proved to themselves, oh yeah, we can actually compete physically if we're playing in the right areas of the park and play into our strengths and not trying to counteract somebody else's game plan. So yeah, it was probably a moment against Ireland where they said, right, next week now we've got the foundations, we've got the confidence to layer on some attack on top of the defensive shift that they put in.
Yeah, and like I literally, when I spoke to Derry, I hugged the living shit out of him. And I said, I have never been so proud of any of you. I've been there, I've watched the team win Grand Slams. I've been there at the depths where we've lost against Italy. I have never been so proud after that performance in Ireland. I was nearly crying speaking to him because I was like, I am so proud of that defensive performance. And he went, it was hard. He said, we had to come off early because we were blowing. He said, my shoulders are killing me. He was like, it was a hard game. Were absolutely phenomenal. Like 24 tackles in 40 odd minutes. Alex Mann, little demon. So you could
somebody
see
else that's taking their chance this tournament. Alex Mann has really stepped up again, hasn't he?
Absolutely. So I think we had a lot to be happy with about that game. And I did have a bit of a quiet confidence about Italy because I thought, are they going to have a bit of an emotional hangover after beating England? Or are they going to be dangerous? And I didn't know, but I had that kind of belief that they could go ahead and do it. But I think I messaged you guys half time, didn't I? To say I did not have this on my bingo card. I did not have us going in 21-0 half time on my bingo card. And I just couldn't. I just said to Don, if we lose this is going to be the most heartbreaking thing ever because we were so in control in the first half. And I said to John, if we can come out in our second half and we can score first, we got it. We got it. It's there. And it just a night and day performance for me against the performance at the start with England to that performance against Italy. I don't know about you, but wow, it was like night and day. It was two very, very different teams, very different performances. And I don't know whether perhaps we're finding our identity a little bit.
England are certainly lucky that they played us in week 1, aren't they?
Absolutely, because do you know what? We'd have taken them if we'd have played them last.
Yeah, I don't think any of us could have foreseen the improvements over those 5 matches. I think we were also despondent after the England game. France, we didn't expect to get anything from that, and France have shown throughout the tournament that they well, they'll be gutted they didn't get the Grand Slam at the end of the day. You know, they were a good
Yeah,
enough team to win the Grand Slam, and they'll be disappointed they didn't. But from that Scotland game onwards, as you say, we found an identity, we found a steeliness, we found some calon, and some real fight, that we haven't seen for goodness knows how long over the last 3 years. You know, during the whole period that we've been struggling, the team now seems to be fighting for
cohesive.
each other. They're gelling together. You can see the togetherness on the field. You know, whether they've lost, whether they've won. Um, yeah, just an incredible difference that none of us, I think, could have foreseen happening after that England performance in the first game.
And that coincides, guys, with some consistency of selection as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't had consistent partnerships for the last 3 years, and lo and behold, we lost how many games in a row? Now that we've had, was it the last two games or even the last three where you're pretty much looking at the exact same team sheet week to week? You're just seeing a bit more gelling, a bit more cohesion, a bit more of that natural instinct being able to come through because the players are familiar with the guys around them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably a big part of that is just the
Mm.
simple thing of getting the same people out there week on week.
And I think man for man, they've all performed, not only for themselves, but for each other. Um, and from the talks afterwards, where they were all talking about how much they wanted to play for each other, that it certainly seems to be a much happier camp under Tandy mentally than under Gatland. Gatland might be posh under Gatland. So it certainly seems to have that element of mental stability within the camp. And from listening to Tandy and what he's saying, he certainly sets a lot of store in that as well, where he said, you know, we want the lads to be able to talk to us about what's going on the field, what's going on off the field. Lovely to see, you know, I think it's the first time for me centre pair, you know, the centre partnership I've seen to click. I thought Josh Adams had his first good game for a while. Am I convinced that he's needs to be there? No. I think LRZ is still kind of growing into his position in fullback. It wasn't an awful it wasn't an awful performance by any means, shape, or form. But when you're looking at the likes of you know, Bielbar and what he's doing on the wing, do we think, you know, LRZ could be better going back to the wing? I know he's full back at Bears, and he seems to be enjoying it from what he said when he's being interviewed. But I certainly think that's an area that we need to cultivate.
It's tough,
For
the
me,
Josh Adams question. If he can play like he did on the weekend every week
Yeah.
consistently, like he did, back 2021 Josh Adams, 2020 Josh Adams, then I do really see his value in the team because that back line is young, or not necessarily young in some cases, but lacking experience from if you ignore Thomas Williams in the 9 jersey, from 10 through to 15, there's not a huge amount of experience there. You're trying to cultivate the young centre partnership. You're trying to develop new talent in Ellis Me on the wing, who's exceptional in that last game. I
Yeah.
oh
think
yeah,
particularly
He was.
defensively, his defensive reads were looking vastly improved on top of his attacking and aerial game. But there's just not a lot of mature voices in there, particularly mature voices who are willing to actually scold and shout at people if they need it or whip people into line. I think Thomas Williams' main focus really is he's directing things, isn't he? And he's
yeah,
leading from the front. A lot of these boys, they're standing offset behind him. He hasn't got them in his immediate line of sight, and they're expected to sort of do that themselves and work it out around what he's playing. So somebody like Josh Adams on the wing, who's got that, like, that set backness, and he can see what's going on, and he's willing to just drag people out and cover the space with him. I do see his value in that, balanced with other attacking threats. But you're completely right, Sam. You're talking about one attacking threat there, Lewis Rees-Zammit, and is he in the best position to make the
Yeah,
most of his skill set? Yeah, I'm still not convinced. Could Ellis Mee do a job at 15? He's got the physique of a 15, isn't he?
yeah. And
He's good under the high ball.
talking about like Thomas Williams and having that old head, I don't know about you, but I felt a lot of pressure was off on him on Saturday. I think he
Yeah.
felt more comfortable and trusting in those around him that they were sticking to the system, the plan. And I think it freed him up a little bit to be able to bring some of his Prem, form onto the international stage. Um, I think a lot of players have put their hand up to say, we are good enough to be on the international stage.
Yeah.
We are good enough to be competing. We are good enough to be here. And that's what I've loved is they've all put their hands up, not only for themselves, but for each other. We've got to discuss Dan Edwards and
Yeah.
that drop goal.
Well, I've been talking
The
about
game
things
will
not
stop.
on. I've been talking about things not on bingo cards. I don't think anybody would have foreseen that happening. Just the audacity. I suppose that's what you can do with a 28-0 lead. I suppose it's a little bit of a kick to nothing, isn't it, at that point of the game? But the timing of it, as they said in comms, just nailed put the nail in the Italians' coffin as well. Just to get that extra 3 points. Normally 3 points is going, okay, it's only 3 points away, but just the audacity of it and the timing of it, it just brought another lift to the performance again, didn't it? And shows the confidence Dan's been playing with. I think how he's bounced back from being left out for the Scotland game, and I know he was injured to Costello that maybe gave him his place back again, but he's reacted so well to that setback. Tough place to play over in Ireland. Not everything that he did went perfectly, but he kept on trying the same things. He kept on plugging away and put in a decent performance. Then he grew into that game. I think the Ireland game as that sort of progressed. And then Saturday, you could see that the Ireland game had given him confidence. And obviously, the fact that the backline were firing then off him and off Thomas Williams as well,
And
just gave him that confidence again on
we've
Saturday.
seen him. We've seen him do drop goals for Ospreys. We know it's in his wheelhouse. We know he's got that in his locker. But what I loved about it was A, having the confidence to do it, and B, the absolute way he backed himself when he was like running back, because he was like, fucking come on, to everybody around him. And it was like, you've loved that you've done that for you, but that's the fact that you're 28-0 up is not good enough for you. You need more, you want more, you need to be better. He's had a lot of pressure on him online, and a lot of detractors. And it was so lovely to see so many people posting and saying, I hope the people who slag him off will go back in their box now and mind themselves, because I posted something to say, wow, he's so young to do that and have that self-assuredness to do that, to me is banging. And then someone came back to me and was like, yeah, it's easy to do that if you've got your forwards. It was like, I've not slagged Costello. I feel like we do need 2 10s vying. And sometimes we're going to need different 10s for different games. So I'm not saying that Costello's bad. What I'm saying is Dan was good.
But I'd always choose a confidence player over a non-confidence player, because they can just generate something from nothing, like in a way that a confidence player can't. And
he can shake it off. He's like, I know I'm bore myself when I say this, but like Finn Russell, he tries shit, he shakes it off. He doesn't let it affect him.
Yeah, and that's what I can't wrap my head around, that kick, because he just put himself out there so much. He exposed himself for those 2 seconds of hang time where you weren't sure whether it was going to go in or not. He was completely exposing himself, because there was no need to do that kick in terms of like on-field tactics. You're in a comfortable position. You're 40 meters out. It's probably a 50-50 shot sort of thing. And if it didn't go over, even being so far ahead, he would have just incurred the wrath of certain people online. He did not need to do that, but he took the chance anyway, and he nailed it. So
he backed himself, and I love that he backed himself. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No
add that
was good
little
as
bit of
well.
magic.
We're
There was
sat
a
on their
kick to the
sofa.
corner. Sorry, Rog,
Sorry.
go on, carry on.
No, it's all right. You carry on.
I was just going to say there was a kick to the corner as well in the first half where
Yeah,
most tens would have played it safe and popped
no,
it sort of somewhere between 10-meter line, 22, whatever,
Yeah.
and he stuck it so far in the corner. And again, it's that not sort of settling for an okay kick. He went for a beauty of a kick, which came off. It's not always going to come off. Another day that goes the wrong side of the post or whatever, but it's that backing himself, isn't it, to do
that
that?
willingness to go balls to the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah,
And I
Yeah.
love that because whilst I can be critical if it doesn't come off, if it does come off, then I'm happy. If it doesn't come off, I'm very firmly of unless it's really, 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 really stupid, I'm like, do you know what? Dr. Pepper's. Like, there's a difference between that and Adam Beard. Do you mean Adam Beard? What the frig were you thinking? That's not in your wheelhouse. That's not you. That's not there for you. Whereas with something like that is so 50-50, I'm okay with that because you've taken the chance. You've had a bit of an experiment. And it was just seeing the utter joy at the end where, okay, Italy, we did let them back in, but I thought both of them showed some fabulous rugby nose with that that try that was not a try. That's rugby brain, that is. And he's perhaps not the best rugby player ever, but he came out with an intensity and a physicality that you've got to appreciate.
Yeah.
So many people just stuck their hands up for me.
Yeah. It's going to make things difficult come the summer when we've got a few players back, and to make some of those selections. It's not going to be easy, is it? Particularly in
But that's a
in
nice
the back
problem
row.
to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wayno had a well-deserved man of the
yeah.
match.
I was just going to say, actually, Sam,
You know?
earlier on that there were lots of players pre-tournament we were saying needed to have big Six Nations, Wayno being one of them. Alex Mann coming into that back row, being shifted around from position to position, has been fantastic. Dav Jenkins has been superb. He really needed a big Six Nations, and he's really, really stepped up into that leadership role that we were all expecting and hoping that he would grow into. Eddie James in the centre has grown into the tournament as it's sort of gone on. We're seeing him ball in hand a lot more. Dewey's leadership we never questioned. I think by his own admission, his performance in the first couple of games maybe didn't meet the standards, the high standards that he usually meets. But he's really stepped up the last few games defensively, and in the doing that dirty work that a hooker needs to do. He can let Carey score the half length of the field tries. Dewey's done the donkey work and done the hard work to put him in that position. So it's not just his leadership. I think performance wise, he's shut a lot of people up as well in terms of questioning his play.
And it was nice for him to get a try as well. It kind of made me feel a bit very, very happy. And he's such a nice kid. Like, do you know what I mean? That he wears his heart in his sleeve. He genuinely cares. And I think, when they're getting the kick in then online, it's it's difficult for me because you can see the effort that they're putting in. I'm just so pleased that there's been an upward trajectory of performance, and we just need to make sure that, or I say we in the loosest sense of the word, it just needs to continue now. I think that growth needs to continue. What they're trying to build is going to continue. Obviously, we've got the defence coach coming in and starting, which I'm assuming, defensively we were much, 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 much a million times better. I should imagine that Tandy's employed somebody who's going to be on the same wavelength as him with regards to that. So I can only see that going from, strength to strength when he's fully on board. And like you say, we've got, the new tournament now that is coming in the summer. We've got a Barbars game in Twickenham, and then obviously we've got the is it the Nations Series?
Nations Championship. Just looking at the fixtures actually, because I'd forgotten who we're actually playing and where. So we've got
Is this South
Fiji
Africa and
first.
Argentina?
Yes, we've got Fiji first up, which is in Cardiff, although it's an away game for us. Then Argentina away, and then South Africa away. So a difficult set of
Jet
fixtures
lag
for the
tour.
summer, but with the newfound confidence, I think we could be competitive, or we can go into those with more optimism, certainly than we could have done a month ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Competitive might
Um,
still be a stretch, Mark.
Let's just remain positive for now while
Let's
we're on
walk
this
before
slant.
we can run.
don't piss on my parade, Rod. Um, but overall, like a very weird and wonderful Six Nations Championship, really, because if at the start you'd have asked where the cards would have fallen and results would have been, all right, we would have said France would have won it and we would have said we were at the bottom. But that middle section, I don't think we would have put England where we put England. They've got a certain element of criticism that they've had. I think Borthwick's position is a little bit shaky. Love him. But I just think discipline really let them down on Saturday against France. I gotta love Pollock. I do think he's getting a lot of shit online for his thing. Too
That was
soon, Henry. Too soon.
that
Yeah,
was the first time where I think he took it too far and
yeah.
Yeah,
made me dislike him a bit. I've been tolerant to it so far. I
Mm.
appreciate what he's doing for the sport and bringing in new fans and everything. And he's a character at the end of the day. Let him do his thing
he
as
was
long as
just
he's not hurting
stupid.
anyone. But that was just, oh, it was so obnoxious. Like it
Yeah.
was hard to look
It was
past.
stupid.
And I think
It
if
just
they were in
made,
injury time, the game was won, then fine. But
yeah,
to do it and then
To bit you.
concede straight after, and for him to be part of that leader play for the conceding of the final points as well, it just gave ammunition for everybody who hates him just to pile on, didn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, I think a lot was said as well about the week before with Itoji and Smith, and Itoji losing his cool and snapping. Um, and I did say to John, I think there's something going on in camp there. We've seen people before have ab dabs on the field, like bigger with that. I'm trying to remember the game when he was like, "Kick
yeah,
the fucking ball off. What the fuck are you thinking?" We've seen reactions like that before. However, we've not seen the likes of a Torji doing that before. Not really seen that, you know, from England really.
I
Um,
think Sam, the biggest question for England is how they can perform like they did on Saturday, and they can lift themselves to play France away in that game and be so poor against Ireland, against Italy. I think that's the biggest question, is in terms of maybe attitude and temperament. Can they raise their game every week when it's needed, or do they just save it up for the big games?
for the big games, and it's got to have that level of consistency as well, isn't
Mm.
it? And I think that's what they've not had throughout this. And I think the thing that disappointed me more about the Italy thing was people weren't focusing on how well England, like how well Italy played. It was all, can't believe England were beaten. Actually, England were beaten really well by an Italian side, and it should be more of, wow, well done, Italy. You've made that step up. Um, so I think there's got to be something going on in the background with England. France were just superb. I think they've got to be aiming for a Rugby World Cup win now in 2027, and they,
Yeah,
especially with the likes of
Yeah.
Ramos Jalibert.
I think they do still have their weaknesses, though, some things that they need to sort out. I mean, it's been endlessly quoted that they leaked 94
Yeah,
points or something in the last two games. They can be exposed. Um, they'll score a lot of tries, but they'll give you the opportunity to score back and potentially
yeah.
outscore them. Particularly with their small pack, I still can't see them doing a job out in South Africa
South
or against
Africa.
South
Yeah.
Africa in a World Cup. Um, I just can't see it at the moment.
Yeah.
They've
I
got they've probably got more individual talent, France. Like just your absolute superstars that can,
Bless.
well, make something out of nothing. 4 tries on the weekend for
Uh,
LBB. That
yeah,
that's just individual brilliance. You take him out of the team, and those aren't getting necessarily scored by his replacement because he was making those.
yeah,
I don't think South Africa have as much of that. Obviously, like everyone is an 8 or 9 out of 10, but it's for South Africa, it's always a team performance, isn't it? That's their whole
yeah.
mentality, their mantra. It's like all of them operating like a unit and executing their plan. So um, I think that game wins overall if the two come up against each other because it's a bit more
Yeah,
Yeah.
France weren't
structured.
perfect. And when you were speaking to like Sean Edwards at the end, he was saying if you look at rugby and how rugby's changed over the last 10, 15 years, defensively, he was like, I could look at this and be horrified because as defence coach, I've had this many scored against us. But it's the fact that everybody is having that now with regards to defence. It's not just a French thing. But did anybody else love the mic drop moment when they said enjoy, the winning the championship, and he just ended on, yeah, it's my seventh, thanks.
Yeah.
He was just banging. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, it was my seventh, thanks. So I think the world of rugby is very much changing with regards to points scored, defence, and everything else.
Mm.
And it's how we catch up with that. Um, that really.
I mean, Ireland
Um,
is a big story this tournament as well. I mean, I think we talked again pre-tournament about Ireland being in this rebuild phase at the moment. Well,
yeah,
a Triple Crown isn't a bad rebuild, is it, to be fair? And I don't think anybody expected that pre-tournament and that performance against England. I don't know, England improved over the competition. They weren't as good as people expected them to be. But still, to go to Twickenham and to dismantle England the way they did was very, very impressive. And I think, Ireland are further ahead in that rebuild maybe than anybody expected. And I think a big part of that is probably finding the answer at 10 finally and nailing that
Crowley.
with sort of Crowley, nailing their, what's the saying? What I'm trying to
Back
say?
to the maths.
That's the one.
That's the flag to the maths.
On
Um,
Crowley and fixing with him. I think that's been a big step for them in terms of their performances this Six Nations. But it's been so open, isn't it? I mean, that last game was an absolute perfect ending to the Six Nations, really. The
Yeah.
great to
France
watch the
very
neutral.
nearly threw it away against an England team that had been the most disappointing England team in decades. And for the game to end with a last-minute penalty just
Yeah.
summed up the entire tournament. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
superb.
Oh, you can't ask for better, can you? A
No,
tournament be
No.
decided in the last minute of the last fixture on
Yeah.
the last day. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's
yeah.
awesome.
And that Scotland performance against France has to go down as one of the best Six Nations performances of all time, probably. They were
It was
absolutely
phenomenal.
magnificent that
Yeah.
day.
And I
I
think Gregor's probably done himself a favour with that as well, because it was very shaky for him up to then. Because there was a lot to talk when there about him being the next Newcastle Red Bulls coach. But of course, it's been Stephen Jones announced for that now as interim coach, hasn't it? But I do think, Scotland should be happy with that. Could they have got more? Yeah, they could have been better. But you know what? I'm really pleased for Scotland. Tupolotto finally had his hug from Princess Anne. Thought that was the cutest thing ever. It was very, very cute.
Wonder if he
Italy,
smelt as good as Dewi at that point.
no. Actually,
I'm
no, I have.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna say I'm a bit frustrated by Scotland. I'm a bit fed up by
on
them.
it as well.
I like endlessly talking about how good they are, but they still
Yeah.
just falter. I'm a bit bored of the narrative, to be honest.
I do think Kyle Stein had an amazing tournament. He's up there with me for player of the tournament. I do think he's had a phenomenal tournament. Um, I just think that with that back line, with Finn pulling things, they could have been better. I get that they've had injuries in their back line and they've had to bring Gilchrist and whatever on, and I understand that. My worry with Scotland is that they're aging out a little bit. What have they got coming through? That's my worry with.
Do you think that was their last shot?
And yeah,
do you think it only gets worse from here?
Yeah, and I'm only saying that because John's not here.
It was definitely a missed opportunity for Scotland, wasn't it? I mean, obviously the Italy game was a big anomaly in terms of the weather and everything else, but you play the conditions in front of you, and Italy played the conditions better on that first weekend than Scotland did. Got the win. And then Scotland can pull off, a worldie of a performance against France, and then look pretty ordinary for about an hour then on Saturday against Ireland. They started the game strongly, but then looked bang average for the majority of the game after that. So it's just that inconsistency, isn't it? They can't to get past.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating. But overall, a really, really, really good Six Nations. Really enjoyed from the point of view of watching the games where I was a neutral. Some fabulous standout performances for people coming through. And I think it's only for the betterment of all the nations, really, that take part. But Rugby Christmas is over for another year.
Before we move on, I need your help with something. I'm trying to do it, but I can't whilst trying to maintain conversation as well. Can it be worked out between us that Wales are the best team in the Six Nations? So
yes, it can.
Italy beat England. Who did England beat? Because it needs to circle back to us beating Italy.
Lauren Salter did this, didn't she, online the other day?
Did she?
She worked out that Wales were the best team.
Okay, so what was it? Let's try and do it.
I can't remember the way around.
Phil Steele did it as well, didn't he? Hang on.
Did he? Oh, okay. I'm not. I'm late to this. Have I? It's already been done. Who did England beat? Answer me that. I can't think off the top of my head. I've got a cold for anyone who's listening to my nasally voice, and my brain's not computing.
England only beat us, did they?
Wales beat Italy, who beat Scotland, who beat France, who beat Ireland, who beat Scotland, who beat England. Therefore, Wales are champions.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Flip that table upside down.
Wait, you know what though, right? Love that. Because that's logic in my head, that is. I am not the world's most logical person. In fact, I've got no logic at all whatsoever. I'm very impulsive as a person, as my ankle now shows with my new Shamrock tattoo. But that kind of makes a weird logic to the bees that buzz around in my head.
Yeah, it's satisfying, isn't it? Satisfying.
It is.
But that just speaks to the chaos of this particular Six Nations, doesn't it? That among 6 teams, that chain hasn't been broke somewhere along the line, and that every team has sort of beaten a better team than them at some point. Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
Sounds good watching. I also don't think I've ever got to the end of Six Nations and been happy when Wales have finished bottom.
Yes.
Which again is a weird feeling. It's just the growth in positivity and performance as that competition's gone on has led us to be positive, even though we finished rock bottom.
I think we can almost be the happiest team or the happiest fans from that tournament in terms of expectations at the beginning and then result at the end. I think some teams who have done better might be disappointed even.
I'd be pissed off.
England obviously aren't going to be happy. Scotland aren't going to be happy. They missed opportunities. Italy was the best ever tournament, but it could have been better. It could have been their best. Sorry, it wasn't their best ever, was it? It could have been their best ever tournament.
Yeah.
Ireland, they probably made some improvements and they're relatively happy, but France would have been gunning for that Grand Slam and ruin the loss that they had earlier on in the tournament. So I think, honestly, we might be the happiest.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Who would have thought it, eh?
I know.
I'm well pleased. Also worth mentioning, how nice is that French Le Crunch shirt?
Really liked it. Really liked it.
Completely sold out everywhere, sadly.
Has it?
You can pre-order on Adidas though, so I'm thinking of doing it.
Just
Yeah,
very
It's
nice.
really
because
smart. Looks Argentinian.
What's
I
happened
got
to
to
the
be
whole
honest,
kit clash business though? Because I mean, if that's not a kit clash for
you bought
colourblind
in,
people on Saturday, I don't know what was.
and they were like, "Oh,
You don't.
they got
You
red
didn't need to
socks
be.
on."
You didn't need to be colorblind. You just
No,
need a
exactly.
TV that's over 10 years old, and the
Yeah.
pixels were distinguishing.
No.
It was a
It
nightmare
was
to watch.
awful,
You're
Yeah.
looking at the
absolutely
socks.
awful.
That's all you were doing, is staring at the red
But
socks.
even
Yeah.
then, red socks and black socks, like I'm not great. Like I'm not colorblind, but I'm not great with distinguishing red on green.
Yeah.
So I was like, they both look black to me. But I do love that shirt. They've also got a really nice cardigan, which is stunning. But with regards to the shirt, I'm going to sound a right girl now. That in pale blue with a pair of lovely jeans in the summer and a lovely pair of white or blue Adidas Gazelles.
Mm.
Chef's kiss, that is. That's there. That's
So is it
like
just
I'm
their
loving
away
like
kit, or is it
no. If
It
you
called
was
a
go
a
on the
special
Centenary
edition one?
shirt, wasn't it? Whatever. Not
yeah, if you go
Centenary,
on
it was
the
a
Adidas website and type in French 120, it'll bring up the range because they've got a short sleeve shirt, a long sleeve shirt. They've got
Ah,
like
yeah, yeah.
tracksuit. The
Oh,
cardigan
the
is
cotton
beautiful as
jersey's nice
well.
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It'd be
nice,
almost
very nice.
almost worth walking around the whole summer sucking in my stomach for.
Well,
I thought you were going to say almost worth 80 quid.
it
Oh
is
no,
worth
I don't think
80
it's worth
quid.
it. No, I don't know if it's worth it.
It's
Mind you,
100%
all
worth
shirts are
80
80 quid
quid.
these days. If you're going to spend 80, you might as well get something
Yeah,
decent for
yeah,
it, I suppose.
See, I'm
It'll be
happy to
on
spend
Vinted in
the
a few years'
cash
time.
on that. I'm like 80 quid, worth it. 100% worth it. Um, I was actually in my Lilac Scotland shirt on Saturday. Brand new with tags on. John had it for me on for 30 quid on Vinted. And it's
Decent lad.
lovely.
Mm.
Lovely. So I'm like, good lad. Um, but we're kind of back now to URC. Back in action. Now we know our international players are going to have a bit of a break, so I should imagine Dewi is not going to be playing. I don't think Dan will be playing. The others have not had many minutes, so
This is
I
the
would
moment
hope,
where we're quite pleased that a lot of our squad didn't get picked.
yeah. I did. I don't know if you've been seeing on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff, like the Welsh Rugby Union map players questions of the day, and they did one about the plane seats. So they put different people in different plane seats and said, who do you want to sit next to? Harry Deves, I friggin' love you. They went in first. He went, I'm on the plane, boys. I'm on the plane. He was just so pleased that they put him in a seat for people to choose to sit next to him. And he was just like, I'm on the plane. I'm on the plane. I did have a wave off him when I was in Dublin because where they were warming up was down my end, and I had my Ospreys flag, and I was like, Harry. He was like, right. I had the same from Dan as well, and it was just I've loved these questions of the day. So like, who do you think is who takes their washing home to their mum to do, and who would you ring and they not pick up, and all that kind of thing. So I quite like that level of social media interaction with the team. But all the ones that they've done with Harry have amused me no end. So I would hope that our players that haven't had many minutes would be released back, and well, have been released back, would be in a position to play. But we go out to Treviso. It's a bit like round two of Wales Italy again, isn't it? With regards to this. So what we thinking are our chances, because some results didn't go our way on the weekend. So we played
No.
stayed pretty steady in the table, but
Still, yeah. No, Scarlets couldn't do us a favour, unfortunately, could they?
no, Rod's on mute with his head cold.
Yeah, disagreeing with Mark there. What I was trying to say was that their squad should certainly be more impacted by the Six Nations than ours, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
They tend to have the majority of the Italian squad at Benetton, so that should work in our favour. And then the areas that we have had Welsh involvement in are probably the areas that we've got the most depth in as well. So I think we're looking good for this one.
You never know, do you? That first round of fixtures after Six
Yeah,
Nations, it's a funny time, isn't it? It almost feels like we shouldn't be playing rugby yet. Really, the players should have another week off, and then come back with full ball squads after that. Really, but
yeah.
it's always a weird
It's a
one.
funny time, isn't it? It's a funny time. It should be said that there have been training pics of Jack Morgan doing contact.
Oh, yeah,
So do we have a timeline on his return? Is it imminent?
not heard anything.
No, I know he's been doing full training, so I don't think that he's back quite yet, but they are eyeing him coming back before the end of the season, which I think the fans need, and it's worthy for the fans to get that opportunity to say goodbye at a home game.
Yeah.
Um, so I do think that, but not seen when they're particularly aiming for with him. Um, but it would be lovely to see him back at Brewery Field before
Yeah.
they go off across the border. I think, looking at us and what we're playing on Saturday, then we're on what, like 29 points. I think
Yeah, we're
Benetton are a
10th.
couple below us, and so I
Yeah,
think they're 3 places below us on
Benetton are 23 points,
22,
13th at the
23.
moment. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
13th.
so I think, reality is that should be something that we are very much aiming for and gunning to come away from that with points, with a bonus point. No reason why we can't do that. Which would hopefully then shore us up the table a bit, because that eighth spot, or that top eight finish, is very firmly within our
Yeah.
grasp and within our control of trying to obtain, I
Just
think.
looking at the other fixtures this weekend, it is potentially a massive weekend for us, really, in terms of needing the win, because you've got the Bulls above us. Have got Cardiff at home. Lions have got Edinburgh at home, so you'd expect them both to pick up a home win on the weekend, which makes it even more important for us to make sure that we do the same. Ulster are away at, or Ulster, sorry, Connacht, sorry, are at home, are away to Ulster, the other team
Yeah,
that directly around us, and you would think it's between us and those three, really, in terms of that eighth place. I think everybody else is probably too far ahead to
yeah,
catch potentially. So yeah, looking at the other fixtures over the weekend, you'd expect the two South African teams to win at home, and we can't let them get away from us at this stage really too
no,
far. So
no. And
it's that important.
we've got Connacht the week after next.
Yeah,
So again, that is a big game for us, away, which again we should be targeting as coming away with something from that. We have got a nice end of the season with who we're playing, so we've got a slightly softer end of the next block. But again, we need to maximise every single thing,
Mm-hmm.
or every single game that we are
Mm.
playing, um, and just getting what we can from it. Um,
yeah. Because after the next two weekends, Sam, we've got Connacht week after next, and then following that, we've got a couple of derbies. We've got oh, sorry, we've got the Sharks after that, and then following that, we've got Cardiff and we've got the Scarlets before we finish with
yeah,
Leinster.
Yeah. So we're on 35-ish points currently, aren't we? So and we know
29
that
points at the
generally
moment.
you need
29.
29, yeah,
oh,
at
there
the
we go.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to need another 15, probably another 20 points if we're going to want to qualify. So we're talking 3 or 4 wins, aren't we?
We
Bonus
are.
point wins to get
Yeah.
us there, or maybe three, and then a couple of extra games where we just pick up losing bonus
Point.
points in.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's no small feat, but as we said at the very beginning, the fixtures are favourable for us this year, so we just got to make the most of that, isn't it? And not
yeah.
not tail off now. We've got to
Like
ramp
the
things up.
Cardiff game's on a Friday evening, so I might work from the office on that day and then go to the game.
How nice is it though to have a table where all the postponed games have now been played, and you can actually look at it and accurately like measure
Yeah.
You know
teams
where
up
you are.
against each other and start to judge how the latter end of the season's going to go. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice.
yeah, it
Finally,
makes it that
finally.
much easier.
I think that's
Um,
happened for the last 2 or 3 seasons now, isn't it? Where we've had a number of postponements, and
Yeah.
it takes a bit of the
it screws
enjoyment
you the
out of
red.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Screws you the red a bit.
And even
Um,
nicer to see the Scarlets 13 points behind us in 15th at the moment. So that just makes it even sweeter, doesn't it, now that everything's panned out?
well, yeah,
Take a picture.
yeah. Um, I'm trying to be nice in the new year, and it's March, and I'm failing horribly. But yeah, so we've got. I'm definitely going to go to that Cardiff game, I think. Rod, you're welcome to join me if you want. Mark, if you want to come down, let me know. But I certainly think we can make top hit. Our destiny is in our own hands now.
Yeah.
With regards to that, and what better like FU to the Welsh Rugby Union than to be within that the top eight. Don't want to talk about Welsh Rugby Union, to be honest, other than to say date for the EGM is the 13th of April. It's a Monday night. They're giving the clubs the opportunity to attend online and to also submit their vote beforehand as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, Dave Redding came out of that from underneath his rock on the weekend, which apparently was a pre-planned interview with Beeb and Scrum 5. I would just like to say that Alan Wynne-Jones, I love you. The fact that you gave him your death glare made me happy. It was the whole, oh, I'm really sorry I didn't hear you. That just amused me. No end. It also amused a lot of people online as well. But Ospreys news.
Just before you say that, can I just make a very, very rare Mid Wales reference?
Do
Because they
it.
announced the clubs that had been part of the calling the EGM. And it was nice to see Newtown Rugby Club down on that list. They've got no skin in the game in terms of being part of the region or anything else. But from a Mid Wales perspective, it was nice to see their name there as one of the teams that had called for the AGM. I know their head coach is a massive Ospreys fan. Whether that had anything to do with it, I don't know. But
Yeah.
nice to see that name there from a Mid Wales perspective anyway.
Big shout out to Newtown.
My club was on there.
There once.
My club was on there, one of mine was on there. So I was really, really pleased to Upper Boney. I'm really annoyed that list got leaked. I'm really annoyed because I think there's an element of bullying and game playing going on. I think if someone were to whistleblow with what was going on in the Welsh Rugby Union at the moment, they'd be open to far more the misogyny claims. I think the bullying claims would be frigging rife. Just need someone to whistleblow. But we march on, we fight another day, we keep on battling. And nothing is set in stone. It's not over till anybody sings. And I think we just need to keep on doing what we're doing, focusing on I think the main thing for me is people think this is an Ospreys thing. For me, it's not an Ospreys thing, it's a Welsh rugby thing. We need to save Welsh rugby as a whole, not just Ospreys. And I was speaking to James Rees the other day, called him the other day about something. And we both kind of said if things were done in an open and transparent manner, would I be happy if my club was folding? No, I'd be sucked off. I would. But if I understood why, I get it. And I get what Dave Redding is saying about, it's a grief process and people will act out and whatever. I've obviously been on the same management bullshit things that he's been because they call it storming, norming, and performing. So you have a change, massive storm, you normalise it, you get over it, and then you start performing. That's fine in theory, but the difference with that is you know why the storm's coming. You know why you got the storm, you know why the change is happening. with this, nobody really knows. Nothing's been costed, nothing's been thought out. And to come out in the media and say there's no plan B, you're just bonkers. It just blows my mind. But that's kind of all I want to say on that for the minute, really,
I
because
thought you weren't going to say anything, Sam.
I wasn't going to say anything, and then I got on my thing.
That's my fault. We were about to move on, and I just pulled us back in, didn't I? So
Pulled me
sorry
back
about that.
in.
I'm choosing not to comment.
Listen, we know that there's stuff that I know that I can't say or I can't comment on. And there's a lot that I would love to say, because I'm not dropping myself in hot water when I say I've been part of meetings with Abby. I've been part of meetings with Dave Redding. Yeah, that's all I'm saying on that, because there's a lot I could say and I'm choosing not to.
Plenty more to come. Plenty more to come. I think we just gotta this week focus on the good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I'm going to bring the mood down now because we're losing Big Phil to Gloucester.
Gloucester again.
So, Phil, Dewi, Jack. But I can tell you how much season tickets cost, lads, because I've looked into it for the shed. £492.
Oh,
it's not bad. I'd live with that. Yeah, when you think I used to pay £800 for hospitality in the Nest, 400 quid, so buy one, get one free for me and John. But yeah, I've looked into that. I did also say to Dewi, I'm thinking of it quite strongly.
And then you could say Sam will pay 400 quid to follow Cock to Gloucester.
Wouldn't be the first time I've followed. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, you just brought the level of the pod right down. We started with religion, philosophy, and it's just come down to Cock in the end, isn't it? It's just
now we've gone to smack.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so that is, gutting. But I don't think I am going to go up and watch the first game. The first home game, I think I'm going to go up and watch.
Just make sure they're going to be playing, because you probably go up and they're like easing them in and none of them are selected.
Yeah,
I'll go up
and watch the first games. Rod, there's a space in the car if you want to come, boo. And I'm going to get a shirt and I'm going to put the number 2 and Lake on the back of it. I'm going to be the Welsh cherry red and white, like.
I'll do Jack's then. I'll do Jack's.
You can do Jack.
Am I going to have to get Big Phil on mine then?
You can have Big Phil on yours.
Thanks for that.
I'm with Big Cock.
Should I just put Cock on the back of mine instead?
Big Cock. But it is gutting. But I would hope that there is some good news coming and that we do show up. It's got to be difficult at the minute trying to attract players or to retain what we've got. So I get it. I understand. I'm trying to think what else has been going on in the world of rugby. Oh, my husband's not happy with me. So I might tie this into my random. Okay. So, normally my screensaver on my picture on my phone is usually a nice picture of me and John, or John looking like a twat. The first time ever I've changed it. My screensaver is now me and Dewi after the Island game. He's not happy with me. He's like that. He's literally, yeah, why have you done that? But for the first time ever, Dewi met John and said, "Hi, Scottish husband, it's really nice to meet you," and gave him a handshake. And John said, "Fucking hell, he did not shake my hand." But who's your screensaver on your phone at the minute, lads? You can have that as your random tonight. Or have you not got one with your boys?
It's my nan who passed away a month and a half ago.
That's really nice though, Rod.
Yeah, you should have seen that coming, Sam. You should have seen that coming a mile off. There's also other things that it could have been.
I literally thought you were going to go for the other thing, and I was like, "Oh, Sam."
Well, yeah. It could have easily been that as well.
I'm like, oh my God, Sam. Mark, what's yours? Please don't say fucking mum and nursing home.
I've got you and Dewi on mine, actually, Sam, as well, and that's strange. No.
I do. That's so nice.
No, I've got a nice family shot on mine of the four of us together.
That's lush. That's
Can I
really
just tell you one little Avatar story though?
please.
Because in COVID, when Ben had to work off Teams all the time, he had to work off Hub. And I got bored one day, as everybody did in COVID. So I changed his face avatar to that of Piers Morgan. So every time he logged into a lesson, his face came up as sort of Piers
Piers
Morgan,
Morgan.
not realizing that once you changed it, you had to wait weeks and weeks and weeks before you could change it again.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I've been
So-
I've been caught with that on Facebook with my name.
So for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, every time he logged into a lesson, Ben appeared as Piers Morgan, which he wasn't impressed with, but I loved. So
I want to change my name on my friend who is black used to call me Shaniqua. And I got drunk one night and changed my name on Facebook to Shaniqua Jane Himray. I couldn't change it back for
They got
30
stuck with
days.
it.
So, note to self, don't change your name when you're drunk on Facebook because it takes you a month to change it back, which is an absolute ball ache. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But yeah. Oh God, Rod, you depress me now. I'm gonna have to lock up my Skull Panda, My Little Ponies now to make myself happy.
As soon as you said the
I
words
just should have known better.
screensaver or lock screen, I was like, oh Christ, I know where this is going. I know my answer.
It's just like, oh my God. But it is normally like the last one I had on was a picture of me and John at my brother's wedding with me in my very posh dress, looking mighty fine. And I just thought it was such a nice picture of me and Derry. I was just like, do you know what? I'm changing it. And John was like, is it a crush? And I went, no, I just want to be his mum. This is why I know I'm old, is that I don't like, I want to be people's mums now. I want to be his mum. So yeah, that's it. But my other happy thing for the week is I managed to get, I loved My Little Pony when I was little. Proper love My Little Pony. I had one of them. And I literally brushed its hair and its tail to the point where I made it baldy. I loved it so much. Friday, Pop Mart dropped. My weird little dolls that I love that are quite scary. They dropped a collab between them and My Little Pony. They turned up today.
How scary would that be? We need to see that, Sam. How
Want
scary
to
is
see
it?
them?
Look, go on.
Want to see them? So the three that I wanted are the three that I got. So I had Twilight Sparkle.
See, it's a cute name, but some horrific creature is going to appear on the screen now, isn't it?
Look at that hair.
Oh,
Look at how and it's got a horn.
It's interesting.
That's Twilight Sparkle and her
You've got to
hair.
realise that a lot of people are listening, Sam. You've got to give some sort of audio description with these.
that's the most diplomatic comment I've ever heard in my life there, Rod. That's interesting.
Well, what I realised, I was going to try and do it, and then I thought, no, I can't be asked.
She's purple. She's got a purple horn and a pink horn sticking out of her head. And then at the back, we've got her navy, pink and purple hair coming out the back of her. And she's beautiful. She's scary and she's beautiful. But likewise then, Rainbow Dash, who's the rainbow.
There's two more to come, Rod.
Look at her. Look at the rainbow hair. So she's blue. She's got like a leather jacket on with a lightning streak down the front of her. So she could technically be like Lewis Rees Sammet. Now, she's not a unicorn. She's just got a normal.
Okay, so only the other one's horny.
I think the other one's got a horn as well. My last
What is
one.
wrong with you tonight, Rod?
I know, Rod.
I think this cold's playing with your head, I think.
I'm just trying to get through it, Mark.
You just need to get through. And then we've got Rarity. Now, I love Rarity because Rarity's got curly hair like me, and she's white and lilac and blue, and she's got a horn, and her eyes are very weird. So look at her curly hair. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Hi, babe.
I'm so pleased for you, Sam.
Have you got an
48.
inappropriate comment for that one as well, Rod, or not?
No, I couldn't come up
48.
with anything.
The other things that I've got on my desk are vampires in coffins. So I've gone from that being really, really lovely to like a little girl in a coffin with a teddy bear. I like collectibles. What can I say? But it's been a pleasure as always, lads. We'll obviously catch up next week. In other news, I booked to go to the Bears' big day out on the 28th. Got tickets
so
for
good
10 up through Blue Light.
It's a double
Sorry,
header,
the
isn't it, now, with
Bears.
the women's game as well? Bristol.
Yeah.
My
Bristol
brain did not
Bears.
go back to rugby then. The Bears? The Bears? I thought this was some other sort of collectible or some fandom thing. Okay,
No, I
back
got
to
Care
rugby. The
Bears on you
Bristol
as
Bristol
Bears.
well.
Bears. Yeah.
I could show you Care Bears as well if you wanted to see them. I got friendship better. Like, look. No, if you could
Maybe
see
another
what's in
time.
my eye line here. If you could see what's in my eye line by here, I've got Labubos, Dimmos, Harono Scary Clown things. I've got Chip and Dale, and I've got Care Bears. I got it all going on above me by here. If
That's
anybody
a
would
second
look
off-season pod we can do. We can do Sam's collection
Sam's
pod. We can do
collectible.
our religion philosophy pod.
Yeah.
And Rod's inappropriate comments pod.
Definitely inappropriate comments. I'll blame it on the flu meds for you, Rod. But yeah, no, I got tickets to go to the Bears' big day out.
It's just a double header now, isn't it? With the women's game,
It's got the women
playing Harlequins as well.
and it's got the men playing.
Yeah.
So for a tenner, Rod, I bought you a ticket on a punt as well. Not gonna lie. So if you want to come,
that's
let
what
us
it
know.
was that? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Bears are playing Quins.
Mhm.
Seen a really nice shirt on Vinted that I think I like, of the away shirt. So I might possibly buy a Bears shirt because I think they're very cute. But that is us for this week. I'd like to apologise to Geraint for the fact that I didn't have a glass with Guinness on. Didn't have any Guinness in the fridge, so I've not been able to do your pod challenge of splitting the G. But the lads are going out to Italy. We fare them well. Rod, I know you've got Italian heritage, but do you know what would be the Italian version of Ymlaen y Gwaelg?
Christ, no.
No.
And don't put me on the spot like that ever again. No.
Fighting talk from Rod.
The Italian, unfortunately, was not passed down language-wise.
Should we just go
without getting into the detail.
Forza? Is that forward?
Forza, yeah.
Well, you're teaching me, Mark.
Yeah, because it would be Forza Italia, wouldn't it? So it'd be Forza Ospreys.
Forza, whatever Ospreys
is that what it is?
Italian. Yeah.
Okay. Most of my Italian vocab are food-related items.
Oh, I was going to go for swear words.
or cooking terminology.
You've let me down there because I think people should know swear words.
I'll learn some for you.
Is it testa de caso? We'll have to get international without, so we'd say, if we were playing French teams, we'd say Ale Ospreys. I do think it's Forza Ospreys.
It is Forza, isn't it? Yeah. Forza.
Yeah, it's got to be Forza Italia.
Yeah.
If we would like.
Stop looking at me for confirmation. I know.
You asked the wrong pod
you were the
number
one with Italian heritage, not us.
I did 3 days Duolingo in Italian about 6 years ago, so that's where I got that from, probably. So.
Oh, check you out. You practically
fluent. I know.
Yeah.
My grandparents did that good immigrant thing of completely assimilating and not speaking Italian in the family home.
Flash.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. So it didn't get passed on, unfortunately.
Oh well. It's a skill, but a skill you don't have. So.
All right, stop rubbing it in.
Good looking. So we will say Forza Ospreys. So I will end with a Forza Ospreys, and you can do your pals.
Ymlaen y Gwaelg.